Yes, good evening, everybody. What a day of football. I feel like I have just watched football. And sorry, I've just picked up my pug as well. So I've probably got some white hairs all over me. Nature of having a white dog, hair everywhere. What a day of football. Gone our way. And I can't believe we're talking like this, but it's gone our way down there at the bottom. It's gone our way. West Ham. God, that was close, wasn't it? West Ham 3-2, lost the game 3-2, but it could have all been so very different. They were 2-0 up and playing very, very well. And I'll tell you what I noticed, guys. It seems to the new players they've brought in seems to have re-energized West Ham. There's no, for me, it's no coincidence that West Ham have started to play better since they made some signings. They've got new bodies in. It's energized the team. It's allowed them to play Bowen in his natural position. It's allowed Somerville to start playing better. And, new players can do a lot for you. And with that in mind, there is a transfer window open, isn't there? So, look, lots to discuss tonight. I said 48 hours to go at a transfer window. That was the title of the show. And obviously that was at the time of making the thumbnail. So it's less than 48 hours now, isn't it? It's 45 hours. Spurs have 45 hours. That's if we're even active. I mean, I don't know. I've seen nothing. I've seen absolutely nothing. I am clutching at straws. I have put on the thumbnail for this show. Who did I put on? Andy Robertson, Akliouche, and Mateta. I genuinely am clutching at straws, and I cannot understand it. We are in the throes of the worst injury crisis I can remember. I thought last year was bad. This year is just getting worse and worse and worse. And obviously the news doing the rounds tonight. Again, you're never sure if it's 100% true, but the news doing the rounds tonight are that tomorrow, on top of the players that we already had injured, that Danso, Spence, Odegaard, and Van der Ven will all miss tomorrow. Now, I don't know if that's the truth. If that is the truth, I believe that would be 12 first-team players out injured. And that means that the team kind of picks itself, doesn't it? It kind of picks itself. And we'll go through, we'll have a look at what that's going to look like. But look, most clubs, if they were in this bad an injury crisis and struggling at the bottom of the table, their owners would put their hands in their pockets and buy some footballers. Not at Tottenham. Not at Tottenham. And listen, do I believe that something could happen? And, we've got 2 nights left. You've got Saturday night. Well, let's be fair. Saturday night, Sunday night, and then you're there at 7 p.m., right? And I will be doing a transfer show 3 till 7 or something on Monday. And then I've been asked by the boys to go on the Spurs 5 Monday night as well. Look, I don't know who has planned this window. I don't know. I'm seeing you on social media. I see 2 different outlooks. There are those that say, yeah, but it's January and it's tough to do business and people don't want to move. And there are those saying, well, hang on, this is their job. Like this is their job. Their job is to find footballers that are going to be available. And something else we'll talk about as the show goes on is, Lookman. Lookman. Now, we're hearing that Lookman is possibly going to Atletico Madrid for £34.6 million. Now, Romano's saying that here's Chris. There's Chris. Hello, Chris.
Evening. How are we?
Oh, I'm liking it.
I know, it's good, isn't it?
The sky, I need to see it in all its glory. Oh, I'm liking the new. Oh, look at that. Now, for context, people, this is Chris sent us a picture of this, sent a picture of this to me and Percy the other day and went, I'm going to attempt to build this. How was it? How was the building?
It took me 4 hours, but honestly, I'm the worst person when it comes to any form of DIY or flat pack assembly. So when I looked at it, I thought, there is no chance that this doesn't end up slanted or falling over or something, but it took me a long time, and I struggled on a couple of bits where I had to kind of go back and undo what I'd done, but I got there. So yeah, it looks good. So for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably most people, this is my kind of a small fraction of my sports memorabilia sort of signed collection of various things. So there's a lot of Tottenham things here: Tottenham gloves, Tottenham boots.
Is this like a shrine to your stalking? Is that what?
Yeah, it is. It is
a stalking shrine.
Yeah, I've only just got started. I'm actually losing. The next few weeks are crazy. I'm going seeing everybody.
Love it.
It is out of hand. It is out of hand. One day I'll just be on the news, like some restraining order taken out against me or something. That's for sure.
Have you seen this guy? Yeah. Like the FBI's most wanted. Chris, happy Saturday. Do you know what? I've done nothing today. I have sat on the sofa all day. I gave myself one of those days, where you do sod all, and I have just watched football games back to back. And when you're like, I'm all footballed out. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a stream and I'm going to talk some more about football. So yeah. Good evening, Connor, as well. And I'm sure you've worked with Chris before. Have you?
Oh yeah, we've met.
Oh yeah, we know each other. We know each other well, don't we?
Yeah.
Good. Just checking. Yeah. So guys, I can't believe we're talking like this, but results went our way, didn't they, down the bottom of the table today? I can't believe it. But Leeds thumped. West Ham, God, gave us a few moments, but they went our way, right? Yay.
Yeah, it feels slightly perverse to be having to cheer on Chelsea, doesn't it? To win in a game like that, but it does seem it has at least ended the shot in the arm that we gave West Ham, right? To kill that a little bit. I mean, I don't think we're completely out of the woods, but I'd be surprised if West Ham catch us, given their overall form. I can't see them getting enough wins, even with how bad we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like we've got 15 games left. They've got 14. Whatever we do, they need to do that and 3 more wins, right? I mean, Chris, we're not going down, are we, Chris? We're too good to go down, aren't we, Chris?
We have to get even worse, right? Because people who are perhaps a bit more emotional about it all than me, losing their minds about the prospect of going down. But if we carry on with our current form, we get to like 39. And by that, I mean our form over the last sort of 14 games, which has been quite bad. We still get to like 39 points. So not that, I mean, there is a moment there where you have to go, hold on, we're on a Tottenham stream talking about getting to 39 points. So, I mean, it's still, I'm not saying that that's a good achievement. I'm just framing it in the context of the chances of us going down here. They're not none, but we've got to lose almost every game. And you look at our fixtures, as bad as we are, I just can't see that happening. We've got some, I know we struggle with any teams, but we've got some home games where
we should
really struggle to see us getting 0 points.
With our wonderful home record, you mean, where we're going into those games?
Well.
But I think the interesting thing, guys, is like, we all start the window, don't we? And we go, oh, don't worry, it's the 1st of Jan, and don't worry, it's the 5th. Don't worry, it's only the 10th, and it's only the 15th, the 20th. We still got 2 weeks. We're now in a position, guys, where there are, if my maths is any good at all, there are just under 45 hours to go of this transfer window, right? It shuts at 7 p.m. Monday. And we are in an injury crisis, by the way. Apparently, I'm sure you've seen this tonight, Connor. Apparently, there are another 4 players that will not play tomorrow. Most clubs with this sort of injury crisis in a transfer window surely, guys, they at least go and get a couple of loans. Don't like you go and do something at this stage, don't you? You can't just go into the game with 10, 11 first team players every week, can you?
No, I mean, it was not that dissimilar to that last January, though, either, was it? I mean, we had a number of players missing then, and then we sort of scrambled around. I think we only signed Kinski because we had both Vicario and Forster injured. Then Danso come in, mid to end of January, again, with, at that point, we were playing Archie Gray centre-half. And then, obviously, Tell came in, basically in February. So it was a farce last time.
Yeah. But they've learned their lesson, right? So and changed their behaviour for this year. So look, the latest news again, guys. I'm not going to sit here and say it's 100% true, but a lot of the reputable sources are saying that Danso is out, Jed Spence, Odegaard, and that VDV has not made it. Now that could change tomorrow, but that, by my reckoning, leaves us with not a lot for tomorrow. And I'm gonna bring this up, right? Tell me if I'm wrong here, guys. But I think it leaves us looking something like this. Forget the goalkeeper. I think that leaves us doing this. I think that leaves us with Radu Dragusin, Christian Romero. That means that Dogi's got to play because he's the only fullback who's not even a fullback that's fit at the football club. That's going to have to be him. Uma and Gallagher for the legs, for fitness. And then what? Mwani, Solanke, and who am I missing?
Did you have Simmons?
Yeah. Oh, and Xavi. And Xavi, yeah. And Xavi. So whichever way you want to put that. Can you see anything past that? Is that what it will have to be, guys?
I don't know. Who else is there? There isn't anyone else to play, is there?
I don't know. I mean, other than, you've got Sarr and...
Yes.
No. Papa Sarr.
Yeah.
Tell
is the only other one they could play instead of Mwani, maybe.
And then you're talking about Byfield, right? Then we're looking at the back. It will be someone like Byfield.
I'm not against playing Byfield, but this, we're just scratching around here, aren't we? This is absolutely crazy. Sarr, ironically, central midfielder is the only position really we don't. We don't need any backups, and that's where Sarr plays. So,
how mad is this? How mad is it? Has anyone heard? Do we know why? Like the other night, I didn't see Spence go off or Danso. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, guys. Like, is something fundamentally wrong at this football club behind the scenes? Like, how have we got this many injuries?
Well, Spence is a huge blow because for about 48 hours in the Spurs community, we were all, well, not me, but most of us seem to be convinced he'd turned into the Gareth Bale regen, based on one decent game. It amused me, actually. I'm just going to say something on that. It amused me. The whole season, people have gone on about how we've got to be playing Udogie because the attack breaks down every time Spence gets the ball because he's right-footed, playing on the left wing. And he has one good game in that position, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my god, he's like Gareth Bale," and I'm like, "We've solved it." I'm like, "It's one match," and now, fortunately, we've gone back to no. He's I don't think he's a liability on the left-hand side, by the way, but it just amuses me the way we just go from one extreme to another.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Listen, without a doubt. I see, like, every time Odegaard has a decent game, I see, like, the video compilations come out. And it's like, I remember when football used to be a real simple sport and we didn't have to do this every time somebody, we're almost surprised when people have a good game of football, aren't we, as fans? It's like, oh, my God, he's amazing because he did his, job. He did his job. Connor, talk to me. The transfer window shuts in 45 hours. Are we done? Was that our window? i.e. a left back and replacing Bentancur? Is that our window, in your humble opinion?
It's looking that way at the moment, isn't it? I mean, there's no concrete links anywhere. So unless something gets pulled out of, I mean, you quite often in January do get stuff done at the very end, but I don't know. At the moment, you'd expect to at least see some rough links, wouldn't you? And it doesn't seem that way. I mean, it's been as bad as any transfer window has been, and I include the ones where we sign no players in that. And I appreciate January's more difficult.
But do you know what? We say it right, and every day, like, this player's moving, that player's moving. You know, somebody. You know, I feel like Napoli are trying to sign everyone as always. Roma are signing play, and I just look and I think, surely there's a couple of loans, Chris, isn't there? Surely a couple of loans to help us out, and you know, it doesn't have to be Erling Haaland level footballers. Surely we could go to a few clubs and borrow a few players, couldn't we?
Well, we've got track record. Like the last 2 years, we've outdone ourselves, right? So 2 years ago, we managed to get Timo Werner in, which I thought was possibly one of the worst signings we've ever made. But then we actually outdid ourselves last January by getting Tell in just to make Werner look good. So I'm looking forward to who do we get in this January that makes Tell look good. I don't know who that player is, but I can't wait to find out. So we may well get some. I don't even know though. That's normally, like, even in the previous years when we've got Dan Juma or whoever, that the rumor's been circulating a little bit, right? This player isn't fitting in at this club, and maybe we'll go in for him. I don't know who that player is right now, so. Yeah,
isn't that the key thing though? Like, even if we go like kind of what last January's window, I'm pretty sure I remember in the last week that we were linked with Tomori, we were linked with Guay. Like we bid for Tomori, we bid for Mark Guay.
Of course we did.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But you know, we're all sitting there going, "Oh my god, he's going to sign." This window, it's like. There's nothing. I haven't seen nothing. And I know we keep talking about like Akliouche and Lookman, but I'm seeing nothing, Connor, linking us to any of these footballers. Like,
no. I don't know if it's dodgy for you guys. I think a few people have said my sound sounds like I'm in a cathedral at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Am I echoing?
That's right. I like it.
Yeah, I was going to say perhaps it's. I'm looking for some divine intervention, obviously, to save Tottenham.
You're praying at the Spurs altar. That's what you're doing, mate.
But it's I mean, it's absolutely shocking. I'll try and come back out and come back in a sec. But
no, you're right, mate. I quite like it. It's soothing for me.
It's weird. It's like because it's not actually echoing, so it's not really causing a problem. But your voice just sounds distant.
Sounds a bit different, does it? Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll have a look at my mic in a sec. Someone said godlike. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely shocking, and you know, it's just rinse and repeat year after year, isn't it? It's like summer window, we don't do quite enough, and people go, "Oh, don't worry, we can top up in January." And then we get to January, and fans go, "Oh, January's really difficult. Wait till the summer." It's like,
that's the problem, isn't it? So I have no issue at all with the principle of wait for the right player. Don't rush in and buy one that you don't want. I have no issue with that. But if that player, the right player, never arrives, then you never really improve at all, do you? So that's the problem. I think that's what good clubs do. Top clubs will wait for the right people, but then they'll go and get the right person in the next window, and we don't do that. So, yeah, it worries me. And even Frank's now talking about how big the summer will be, right? But yeah, we've been here before.
We'll get to those comments from yesterday. But do you know what I think makes it even worse for me, Chris, is, you know, if you're in a January window and you're, you know, if you're in the top four or, you know, you're winning games, you don't have an injury crisis, you replace the players you needed to in the summer, I can almost get it. You can say, okay, as a fan, I want to see shiny new toys coming into the club, but it hasn't happened. We are in the midst of a massive injury crisis, right? We are struggling to win games. We didn't replace Son in the summer. We've now sold Brennan Johnson. Like, don't get me wrong. Brennan Johnson's awful, but we sold Brennan Johnson on the 2nd of January, right? Then Kudus goes down injured, the other right winger, right? And you're thinking, surely you've now got Johnson, Son, Kulu, Maddison, Kudus. Surely you've got to bring some footballers in, because if Odeber's out now, right? I don't know how long for, but if Odeber is out, that leaves us with not a single winger in the football club. Doesn't it? I mean, if you want to call Teller wing, but it does. It leaves us. This is gross negligence, isn't it?
Struggle to call Teller footballer, let alone a winger. I'm not on board with him whatsoever. But yeah, the thing is, though, I struggle now to get that upset about it, because it's just always the same, isn't it? I mean, we've just seen it every year. So even if we get anyone in, look, I'm not knocking Gallagher. I like Gallagher. I'm fully on board with Gallagher, but we need so much more than one player for the first team. And I have very, very low confidence. I'm not convinced we'll sign anyone. And if we do, I think it's a Danjuma, Werner, Tell, Jedson Fernandez type loan signing.
Well, they're all still playing football, aren't they? So, I mean,
get them all in.
Get them all. Yeah, get them all in. Pack out the team with Gedson Fernandez, Danjuma, and Timo Werner. That will do it.
The sad thing is, Savva, and I've said this to you off stream, I genuinely believe this. Not that I rate him, but if we had Werner right now, I'd be playing him. Like, I think he would be our best left winger. That's where we are. I'm not saying it for banter. I genuinely think that's true.
Can I say, you know what we spoke about on WhatsApp earlier? Can I say what you said about before the game tomorrow? Can I say?
Say whatever you want, mate.
Yeah, like we said, how hilarious would it be tomorrow if literally 5 minutes before the game, we haven't heard anything. They go, right, before today's game, we've got a new signing to unveil. And Raheem Sterling comes walking down the tunnel. Can you imagine?
Kissing the Spurs badge.
Yeah, kissing the Spurs badge. I don't know if you'd have a mixture of boos and groans and cheers. I
reckon he'd be booed. I reckon he'd be booed.
The thing is with that would ruin the 75-minute walkout, because everyone would walk out after 1 minute, wouldn't they? As soon as Sterling comes in, everyone else walks out.
It's so mad, though, isn't it? Like, when you look at just how much this club needs, no one anymore can tell me it's got to be the right player, and we'll only bring them in if they strengthen us. I'll have a day off. Have a day off. I mean, how can you not be able to strengthen this squad? Like, this is absolutely mental. But look, I want to go to the
chat. Everyone's saying that Connor sounds like God. It's just making me laugh.
I'm gonna come back out and come in, because
Connor, if you're going to be in the pub tomorrow before the game, if you are God, can you if I buy water, will you be able to turn it into beer for me? Is that? Yes.
I'll try my best.
It's about £9 a pint in there. Yeah, it's like £9 a pint or something. Like, hang on, I'll ask the wife if I can remortgage the house so I can go to Tottenham for the day. Look, guys, yesterday, just like that, God.
Yeah,
God left the building.
Rejoin, I think.
Chris, listen, I think every time now there's a press conference, every time there's an interview, every single word is now really focused upon, right? I've never seen football as much like this as, it's moved this way in the last 5-10 years, but managers used to give an interview and you just moved on. Now everything is analysed. Is Frank just falling victim now of being another mouthpiece, like they all are, right, for ENIC, by the comments that he said yesterday? Is he falling into being a mouthpiece, or the opposite, Chris, that what other option does he have? I.e., everyone's saying, oh, you want to hear him slating the board, but you're not going to slate your owners in a press conference, are you? So where are you at with yesterday's comments?
Well, the only time you slate your owners like you can argue Conte did, is when you've decided you no longer want to be employed by them, right? At that stage, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But it's a good question because I was speaking to my mate who's a United fan earlier, and he was asking the same question. He said, why did Frank come out with, we tried to sign Semenyo? Because he was saying from his perspective, does that not just make the fans even more annoyed? Yeah, sure, we went for a great player. Then what? Like, we've just gone, oh, well, we haven't got him, so sod it, we'll just won't bother then. Like, well, surely there's some sort of other plan about another player somewhere along the line. But it was odd. I can fully see. Look, I felt sorry for Frank in the way that the fan base has analysed a lot of what he said. But recently, I'm not so sure myself. So going back earlier in the season when he said things like, we will lose games. I'm like, well, I don't know why we had a meltdown about it, because I just thought, well, that's true. I wasn't even bothered by the whole, we'll have 10 good games and whatever it was.
He wasn't lying.
It's just true. In fact, he overestimated how many average and good games we'd have, right? So I didn't get all of that, why everyone was so upset about it. I want my manager to be honest.
But Chris, before I bring Connor in, Chris, I want to ask you, because I keep seeing this a lot, right? I keep seeing this a lot, right? I'll be honest. I'll put my neck on the line right here. I don't understand any manager being called a yes man. They are all yes men, right? You have to be a yes man to be employed, because otherwise, first of all, you go to the picture this, right? So, Chris, you and Connor are interviewing me for the Tottenham job, right? Sounds plausible, right? And I turn around and go, right, what's the budget? Blah, 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 you're going to have 100 million in window 1, 200 million in window 2, whatever. And I go, I don't want that. It must be 300 million. You guys go, cool. Well, he's not getting the job, is he? Like, you have to, every manager in some way, shape or form is a yes man, if people want to use that term, right? Do you understand it? Do you understand where I'm coming from with this?
Yeah, no, completely. I understand what they mean by it, but it's just not the right terminology. It's crazy, really, that they want the manager to be a reflection of their own frustration, right? But
sure, great sentence.
We're all in jobs where that's never going to happen. So we all probably, maybe not so much these days, but pre-COVID, when everybody was in offices, you'd go and have a coffee or something and a break with your mates, and you'd share your frustrations about, he's a dickhead and he's a dickhead. You don't go back in and then declare that to all the senior bosses, do you, in public, and go, yeah, that guy's a whack, because you're not going to have a job. So, it's just a silly thing to say, really, in my view.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Connor, I mean, the comments yesterday were, I mean, I don't get as angered by them. I know everyone hangs on every word, right? But the problem is, I saw Tim Sherwood talking today on Sky Sports, and he said the problem is, these people get asked so many questions, and then the next reporter asks the same question but in a different way, and there's only so much you can say. Like he's like, what is it that the fans think that Thomas Frank's going to come out and say, I'm absolutely pissed off, can't believe we've not got 4 players in through the door yet, I cannot believe I've joined this football club. Like, are they expecting that? Like, what are we expecting?
No, right. Is my mic sorted first of all, or am I still God?
You're
still God.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'll try and fix that. But let me answer the question. I think there is. I think there's a couple of issues like with it. I think the Semenyo quote was a ridiculous one. To Chris's point, I don't see why he.
I don't get it.
He went for that, but
is that
generally I do agree with you.
Just quickly before you go on, is that Enoch forcing? Let me. Maybe. It feels strange with 2 days left of the window that the manager would come out and talk about a player that signed for another club like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Is that Enoch led, or is that Frank led? I don't get it. I don't get this at all.
No, it seems bizarre, doesn't it? I don't get it. But generally, I agree with you. I don't think managers should be asked most of the questions they're asked, and this is a massive flaw of the Premier League, I think, in terms of if you look at the Bundesliga, sporting directors are a lot more accessible, interviewed a lot more. And they're the ones answering these sort of questions about transfers and those types of things. Whereas, I mean, I don't even listen to the press conferences, to be honest. The only bits I see from them are the quotes that get sent on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I tell you one
the other
thing,
day, Vincent Company was asked, right? The other day, Vincent Company was asked about, are Bayern going for Diamond now or in the summer? And his answer was, you'll need to speak to Max Erbel about that. Is it Max Erbel who's the sporting director? And it's like, yeah, that's the way it should be, because you're listen, it's not just Spurs. The manager gets asked these questions. What can any manager actually say? Right? What can he say?
I think it's funny what our fan base expect Frank to say, because on the one hand, they expect him to rail against the board and go, it's disgraceful that we're not getting any transfers in that strengthen the team. But the second he says anything that we're not going to win the league and we're not going to be at the top of the league,
they get upset.
So basically, they want him to go, the board's shit, I hate them all. We should get better players in, but these players are still brilliant and we're still winning the league anyway. And I'm like, well, it's just mad. I feel sorry for him, because one of the things why, and fortunately this name does get mentioned a bit less these days, but one of the reasons why I massively couldn't stand our previous manager, he who must not be named, was because the bullshit that came out of his mouth. And I don't want a manager that I can't recognize the match I've just watched when afterwards they're telling me that, this was amazing and we've got brilliant players and we were unlucky when we've just lost, conceded 4 at Wolves. I can't stand that. So I worry that Frank, though, is beginning to get to that point. But
yeah, it's an interesting one. So like Alex says, Sav, fans want the manager to be honest about the club situation. No, they don't. Whenever he's been honest about a situation, fans like you spit your dummy out. Fans like you go, I can't believe Frank said that. But
when he said we're a Champions League club, but are we a Champions League team? I thought he put that eloquently. I thought that was a brilliant way of describing us. Like, as a club, we are a big hitter and we compete at the top of the European table. As a team, I know we've just finished 4th or whatever, but as a team, we are bloody miles off it. I thought he put it across really well, but fans lost their mind.
I just find it quite funny, right? Because people like Alex, they make me laugh. Do they not think that Thomas Frank is frustrated himself? Like, seriously, Chris, Thomas Frank has said a number of times leading up to this window, that we need players. He's said that a number of times. But when you get to 48 hours go of the window, what can he actually say if nothing's happened? Like, what can he say in the press conference? He said, we want to bring in the players. We need to bring in the right players. They're working hard. Now, again, that annoys us as fans. I get it, because we hear this every time. But I genuinely don't know what they want his soundbite to be. Because if he comes out and says, I'm really disappointed with this window, we had to get players in and we didn't, right? Your boss don't let you get away with that, does it? Your boss goes, oh, hang on, you're calling me out in public. See you later. When's it ever ended well for anybody that does that?
Yeah. I mean, I know he says it all the time. It does drive us up the wall that we're working really hard and day and night and all that kind of stuff. But of course he's going to say it. What else is he going to say? Is he going to come out and go, that Johan Lang, he's a lazy. Yeah. He's done nothing at all. And Paratici doesn't care because he's leaving in about 3 days' time. Of course he's not going to say it.
What's he going to do? Oh, you should listen. Of course, I want to sign players. You should see the shit they put in front of me. God, we're not signing that. I feel like everyone's really needy. Like, everyone's so needy. For me, those sort of conversations should not be in the public eye. Those sort of conversations are what happens behind the scenes, right? That's always been the way. Yeah, it's only now because of social media that we pick apart everything. In the days where there weren't press conferences every bloody day with these managers, in the days before X and Fabrizio Romano's and Ornstein's, people went about their business. And as fans, you just went, oh, are we signing anyone or not? Now it's, now it's kind of like, I want my manager to say absolutely everything that I'm feeling internally. Well, we're fans. We're allowed to say it, Chris. I'm allowed to sit here and say to you, what a shambolic window. Yeah? The manager that's paid £8 million a year can't turn around and go, this has been shit. This isn't what I signed up for. You just can't.
People don't seem to have the brain capacity to understand that this is all the press conferences really are just it's just a show, isn't it? Nothing meaningful is really ever discussed in them, apart from the once in a blue moon Conte type rants. And it also, what they don't seem to realize is just because something's said in a press conference, that's said for the public PR face of the club, doesn't mean that that's the conversation that happens in the background. So I see it a lot. There's loads of examples you could give, but I see it a lot with players. Like, I think it's pretty clear, for example, that Thomas Frank doesn't rate Tell. I believe that that's true based on certain things that have happened.
Sure.
But the second he gets asked a question about, well, what about Matisse Tell? What do you think he's going to say? He's going to say, well, Tell's really unlucky. He's working really hard. He's such a top player. And I don't think he believes it for a second. But then our fan base will have a breakdown and like, see, I told you he loves Tell. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. I love it. It's like, yeah, you're bang on with this one, because I remember when he said, all the people saying, oh, he signed Matisse Tell. Okay, cool. Whatever. He signed Matisse Tell, but doesn't play him and has dropped him twice from the Champions League squad. Yeah, that makes sense, right? But people go, oh, God, did you see what he said? He said Tell's a really good young player that can learn and develop. Well, I'd be really shocked if the manager of my football club turned around when asked about a player and said he is not good enough at all.
Yeah, I tell you, I used to relate it to what job I used to do when I used to be working for the FA in refereeing. I used to look after about 500 refs, and obviously there's a lot of criticism there, but I would defend them to the hilt, even when they'd made absolute howlers, because I wanted them to know that I got their back under any circumstances. But when the public eye wasn't there, the conversation was very different, right?
Of course.
And it was like, hold on a minute, you had an absolute fucking howler, and you can't carry on like that. You carry on like that, there's going to be problems between me and you. But when I'm out there and anyone else is criticizing them, it's like your own. I don't have kids, but it's like your own kids, isn't it? No one else is allowed to criticize them, but by word, like, you're going to say your piece to your own kids. So it's kind of like that, really.
Mate, it's crazy. Yeah, like when I used to work on site, listen, my company, the company I worked for, we were hired to go on site and run a company's talent acquisition, right? So all the team that on site worked for me. If someone pulls me to the side and says, oh, one of your team members has done this and got it wrong, of course I'm going to say, okay, look, it might be because of this or the tool. Or, yeah. Behind the scenes, it's going to be, look, we need to have a chat. Like, come on, what's going on here? But as I said, as football fans, I feel that we're so needy to have ready-made information at every second. I never go into a press conference, right? Watching a press conference and think, oh, I'm going to get loads of information about our transfer window from this press conference, right? No one ever watches a press conference and then comes out of that press conference and goes, oh my God, the manager just said that we're buying boom. They all say the same thing. I'd like to, we'd like to try.
Not going to talk about players at another club, are they? Always.
Yeah. Exactly. We're not going to talk about players that we don't own, but we're so needy for it. And I don't get it. But look, the Semenyo thing for me, Connor, welcome back. Are you still godlike?
Is it working now?
Oh,
that's better. You're back. I don't like it.
Right,
I want to go.
Back amongst the mere mortals now.
Mere mortal now. Yeah.
I think, guys, let's move it away from what was actually said in the press conference. I think that, going back to the more worrying thing for me is when you have got this level of injury crisis and struggling the way we are, forget who the manager is, right? Forget who the owners are. The football club has surely got a duty to help and support. The football club has surely got a, I don't know, I don't know the right word I'm looking for, Connor, but surely they have to be looking at this and going, right, we need to help the manager out. We need to help the players out. We need to help the squad out. Just feels weird to me that we're doing absolutely nothing. It feels so strange.
I completely agree, mate. It's incompetence beyond belief. I think for me, I think we're in that sort of situation where you just have to suddenly decide that you're going to have to overpay for certain players, right? I was chatting to Sean about this earlier, around, say, Akliouche, just as an example. If he's worth 45 to 50 million, this is the type of situation where you have to say, do you know what? We need to slap down 60 and make it happen because we're just in dire straits. I mean, and we are in a position financially where we can do that. And to your point, this is another manager, and he's not shot himself in any sort of glory. And there's issues with Frank, and he probably hasn't quite lived up to our expectations. But nevertheless, they are throwing another manager to the wolves here, in one that they're trying to hope that they can back, but they're not actually backing him. And so, this continues. And I mean, we've spoken about the Champions League. We've got into the last 16. Through that, we've banked 70 to 75 million before you even get into match day revenue. So, what are we doing? I mean, this window, what is the net spend? About 13 million, and that was on a child left back. It is just incompetence beyond belief, and unfortunately, it's only going to end one way again, isn't it? With us finishing in the doldrums, and Frank likely getting the sack.
It's just absolutely mad. I'm looking at it, right? So if all of these reports are true, tomorrow we are missing Odegaard, Spence, Danso, Van der Ven, Porro, Davis, Bergvall, Bentancur, Richarlison, Maddison, and Kulu. If I'm not wrong, we can make a whole 11 of that, right? If I'm not wrong, don't worry, we won't play with a goalkeeper. Right? We could go with Porro.
Well, we haven't for the last couple of years.
Exactly. Right, we can go Porro at right back, Spence at left back, Van der Ven and Danso as centre half, Bergvall and Bentancur in the middle, with Odegaard on one wing, Kulu on the other, Maddison in the hole, and Richie up front. Like that. Like
which team wins?
I've never known anything like this. And don't get me wrong, injuries happen, guys, right? I can't be disingenuous. I said last year, shit happens. Shit happens. Injuries happen. But to not do anything to help, to not, like, right now, I guarantee if Arsenal had 11 first team players out, right? I think 11, I feel like I'm missing one, but if Arsenal had 11 players out, right? Chelsea, City, I guarantee they are bringing in 2, 3, 4 players. I guarantee it. They are not messing around. They are not messing around. But here we are. And all the conversation is frank. Like tomorrow, if we lose to City, which I hope we don't, but I would think if this 11 is the 11 that goes out, I really do worry, guys. Right? It will all be about, Frank got it wrong. And you're like, well, hang on, he's got no other footballers. Like, what is it that we can do at this stage? How do we negotiate these games? Just, I don't know. It just feels weird.
No, I completely agree.
Kudus as well. Sorry, I missed Kudus out. So Kudus is the 12th. Wow. So 12 players. And I saw earlier today they were talking about, who's it? Oh, poor so-and-so. They're missing 2 or 3 players. I was like, geez, 2 or 3? We'd love to be missing 2 or 3 players. Yeah, look. Has anyone got any hope? Is anyone holding any hope that somebody will come in, an Akliouche, last day of the window, a loan, nothing?
Well, the only thing you probably heard these sort of bits that get out from time to time about when the training ground kind of goes, certain areas get locked down when people are coming in to do transfers and stuff. So I've heard that a couple of times, but then there's no actual output to it. So I don't know. I mean, someone just put in there that we got offered John Duran or something. I mean, you could see some sort of mercenary like him.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I'm not too fussed about the links though, because actually, when we've made some of our better signings, they tend to be the ones that haven't had like a build-up of links. So that doesn't worry me overly, and that's why I've always been of the view I'll judge it at the end of the window. But let's be honest, history tells me that why would I be optimistic at this stage? Because it's funny, there was a couple of years, wasn't there, where we were known as the club that would sign them right at the last minute. Your Larices and your Van der Vaarts and stuff, but that's now like 15 years ago.
You said earlier, wasn't Robbie Keane one of those as well?
Robbie Keane, yeah, that was when I made the Sterling comment, because I remember going to the home game the next day, and it wasn't really clear. It's it's not a long time ago, but a slightly different age where it was like maybe formative days of Facebook and Twitter and stuff. I don't even know if there was Twitter. So there wasn't the information available every second of every day. So I went to the game. I knew we were in talks, and I went to the game not quite sure whether we'd signed him or not. And then he just got paraded on the pitch, and that was amazing. But you would expect at least that won't happen, because there's no way there's not a Ornstein or a Ben Jacobs or somebody. If it's basically done or right over the line, you will hear about it at that stage. So, yeah, I mean, there's just no reason to be optimistic, or is there? Let's be honest.
No, I think the worrying thing is, Connor, as well. When, as I said, but by the time I meet you tomorrow in the pub for a pint, Connor, right, there's going to be 30 hours of a transfer window left, right? So let's just say 1 o'clock, we're having a pint tomorrow, right? Just say, right, 30 hours, and Spurs getting deals done in 30 hours. It's just, this has got all the hallmarks of we're going to try and do something in the last 24 hours, right? It won't come off, and we'll be back to Frank being wheeled out in front of the press before the game at the weekend against Man United, going, well, we tried, Johan Lang and Paratici. It's got all the hallmarks.
Yeah, it has. And mate,
just quickly, Marios, dude, listen, we're trying to have a football conversation, right? Not every post needs to be Frank out, right? When you're saying no one wants to join this mess, you have no idea who wants to join and who doesn't, right? I don't know if any of you saw the Conor Gallagher interview today.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Right. He turned around, didn't he, Conor Gallagher, and said, yeah, the manager was a big part in me joining. He said, I spoke to him. I love what he had to say. His energy for the club, his positivity. So please don't start all this. No one wants to join because Thomas Frank is the manager, because Kudus did, Paulinho did, Mawani did, Simmons did, right? So let's stop this. Just it's boring. Boring. Sorry, Connor. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think the thing with me, like I've seen it a little bit as well. People going, oh, well, look, no one else has done any business, particularly in January. And by the way, there have been some clubs that have done more than us, but they're also not sitting 14th or 15th in the league with 12 players out and being a Champions League club, are they? Do you know what I mean? That's our context, right? Our context is we are in the Champions League, 9th richest club in the world, sitting 14th after finishing 17th the season before. Relegation is actually a risk for this football club, and we've got 11, 12 players out. They should be moving heaven and earth to see who they can get in, and as I say, overpaying where they need to, because this is dire straits, right? And look, we were joking earlier. I don't think we will get relegated because I think they're too far away. But if it carries on with 11 or 12 players out, and then we lose these 4 games in a row, and then suddenly, confidence is in the gutter and everything else is already pretty bad. That run that we've had before that, as Chris was saying, then you suddenly are going, oh shit. And you don't have a transfer window open anymore. They've had the opportunity for these 31 days so far to do something about it, and they haven't at all. It's just an absolute joke, as always.
Who is going to be our this season's Mark Guay, who on the on deadline day that we have no chance of signing, are we going to put a bid in for?
Yeah.
Like
I
Morgan
mean,
Rogers or something.
If I think the difficulty is, right, if you are going after somebody's first team starter, right, you can't rock up with 2 days, 1 day left of the transfer window, right? Because those clubs will turn around and go, hang on, I can't replace, right? Like when we tried to sign Malik Fofana on the last day of the summer window. That's what Leon said to us, wasn't it? What can we do? Yeah. You've come to us on transfer deadline day. Who are we signing in the next 7 hours? Like, you know, but there are players out there that want to leave. There are players that are on loan. There are players that want World Cup minutes. And I said this to you in a voice note earlier, Chris, and I don't know what you think about this, Connor. And I've got to be really clear here because otherwise the people on YouTube that aren't very clever will twist my words. If you look at look at West Ham, right? And no, I'm not saying I want any of the signings they've made. West Ham have gone out, bought in 3 forward players, and if you actually look, their form going up, obviously they lost today, but their form going up has kind of coincided with the new players coming into their team, Pablo and Castellanos, giving them a new look, something different, fresh, new ideas. It seems to have perked up Bowen and Somerville, who's on fire at the moment. That is what I said to you, Chris, wasn't it? Sometimes it's that feel-good factor, a few new bodies in and around the building. Is that what you think transfers can do for us as well, Connor? Like I'm not saying I want the West Ham lads, but it's giving them something, right? They look different.
100%. I mean, look, obviously, yeah, completely agree with you. They wouldn't be signings we would want, but at least West Ham have had a go, right?
Yeah,
they've tried. Right. And you're right about transfers. I mean, Spurs fans will remember, what did Bentancur and Kulusevski do when they came in the January window? They were the reason we ended up getting in the Champions League, right? They pushed us onto that, you know, obviously in a very different situation. So, yeah, I mean, and at the moment, to be honest, it's now getting to the stage where you just need genuine bodies in, right? You know, you've got 12 players out. You're then putting more strain on the players that are fit, so that's going to lead to more injuries, and it perpetuates itself. So it's it is dire straits at the moment. I don't know what there is. You know, we come on these streams, mate, and we all sound like the most depressing people in the world because this is what this football club does to you.
But you know what? It's not just them, is it? Like if you look other clubs down the bottom, look at Forest, right? Now, again, forget the names. Even like Fratesi on loan. And again, I'm not saying we should get Fratesi, but they've gone to a club, seen a player that wants to play, and they've gone and got Fratesi on loan. There must be loads of players out there, Chris, that you can get players on loan, and no Forest going out there and doing this, and we're sitting here going, no one's available. No one's available, mate, in January. It's baffling. So baffling for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you're not. You're not. Sorry.
No. I was just unusually quiet. I don't know what to say, mate. It's just been so many. Look, I'm 45, so I've had a few more years than Connor. I think you actually started supporting. You're a little bit younger, Savva, aren't you? But you started supporting Spurs before me when you were a little nipper. But I've had more years of it than a lot of people, and this is why I don't get wound up about it, because it is what it is. But the only thing I would say, it's not really in their defence as such. I mean, I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I don't want us to go out and sign permanently bodies just to get bodies in, because we'll just end up having deadwood again. But there's no reason not to get. Actually, I said to you earlier tonight, I said I've got no problem with Sterling if it was like on a 6-month deal. I have no issue with that at all. I'd have an issue with Sterling if it was on a 3 or 4 year deal, because I don't think he's right for us going forward. But right now, like Connor's saying, between now and the end of the season, we just need to make sure we stay in the league. I don't think we're going down, but the plans of how we're going to be top 4 next season or the year after, it's not really relevant to who we're going to get in, I think, right now. We just need to make sure we've got enough players to make sure we don't have a disaster.
But we're at a stage where you think the other day, I think the only senior first team person on the bench was Solanke, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And it looks like tomorrow, let's assume this. this is the team. I don't know if it is. If this is the team, it means that Tell and Saar, and are the only first team subs. You can't
Savva,
go on
this
like
is this is the other thing. This is the other thing that's slightly ironic, right? And I'm not saying, Dane Scarlett, by the way, shouldn't, in my opinion, should have been sold by now, right? And shouldn't be at the football club anyway. But nevertheless, in the last 7 games, I'm pretty sure he's made a sub appearance something like 4 times or something I read, and now he's been sent off on loan to Hibs, right? So that's just another one that's gone. And I'm not saying that's not the wrong thing to do, but obviously, it just shows again we're now getting down to the stage where basically, like, the sort of kids you're going to have on the bench need to get home or finish their homework whilst they're on the bench tomorrow. They're ones you've not even heard of, right?
Fortunately, though, they're all generational, so if they do come on, we'll be absolutely fine. It won't be a problem.
Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? And like I'm with you, Chris. I'm not angry about it anymore. I just find the whole thing, we'll all start peddling the same stuff, right? As soon as that window shuts, who's going to be the first reporter to link us to a big player that will go, Spurs have set their main summer target on Morgan Rogers, for example? Who's going to be the first person to go, I'm hearing that the Spurs owners have made a £250 million war chest available for the summer. And we all go, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And then we get to the window, and you know what the excuse will be in the window, guys? Oh, but it's a World Cup year. Really difficult to do transfers in the World Cup.
100%.
I just, it's just funny at this stage, right? It's just funny. It's just funny. I look at Villa, right? Villa, Donny Marlon goes out. They bring in Tammy Abraham a week later. Isn't that how a club should run its business? Right? Isn't that? Brennan Johnson left on the 2nd of January, the 1st of January. Yeah. How have we possibly allowed that to happen? And not replacing him is bad enough, right? But then the fact, Connor, that you've seen Kudus go down the very next game. That was 6 games ago, I think. Right? So Kudus has been out for a while now. Johnson's been gone a while, and you're going, any chance of a winger? No, we can't find anyone that's good enough. What? Just don't get it. Don't get it.
I completely agree, mate. And look, the other thing is like, to your point, I mean, thankfully it's not impacted the Champions League, and we've managed to qualify still, but we've lost. I mean, that was a nice run of fixtures we just had, right, in the Premier League, whereby you could say if they did manage to get a couple of signings in earlier, the results could have been very different. And then what is the opportunity cost again of not doing that? We talk about this all the time with Tottenham, like, that reluctance to just do a bit. And what do you then end up missing out on? But this is ENIC, mate. And this is time and time again. And I don't care if it's ENIC 2.0, the Lewis kids, the Lewis family, whatever you want to fucking call them. It's happened time and time again with them. And I mean, who has their sporting director who's only rehired in September, leave when the window starts, but still stick around until the shit that we have to just deal with that goes on.
Stuck around for? We've not done anything. Like what's he? What
a waste of time.
What's he doing?
I always Savva will know this. I always have to challenge the narrative that he rejoined us in September.
Well, no, he didn't. You know what I mean. He was
always there, wasn't he? He's always there. We always carried on paying him. Just his employment status changed from employed to consultant. That's the only thing that happened. Do
you know what it was like? Like today, guys, I looked at you. I hate this. You looked at them lot down the road. Look at Arsenal, right? And Bukayo Saka, I don't know if you guys saw this, 15 minutes before kickoff, pulled up and couldn't start the game. And you're like, no worries, Madueke will start. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where they're at. They're like, oh, Madueke. All right, Eze, yeah, you be on the bench today because Odegaard's starting. Oh, Hincapié, you're on the bench today because this. I'm looking at that. By the way,
Savva, as a consequence of that, obviously Madueke was on the bench, so they had to replace on the bench and the person who came on the bench, who didn't even make the bench, was Norgard. And I'm like, well, he's a level of quality that would walk in probably into our team. So that's where we are compared to them.
It's so worrying. Then, I can use another example of a club that isn't anywhere near as big as us, right? It's easy to use Arsenal at the moment, but look at Fulham. Fulham went out in the window and they bought Kevin, didn't they? They bought, they already had Harry Wilson. They bought Kevin. They've got a couple of other wingers as well. I can't even think right now. And then in this window, as far as I can see, no one's gone out. What have they gone and done? All right, we'll buy Oscar Bob. Now, when you're like, well, hang on. Why have you bought him? Oh, we're allowed to buy players, are we? Oh, you're allowed to buy players if it's not replacing them. You are allowed to actually buy what you need. And again, my point isn't, oh my God, we should have bought Oscar Bob. I think people always use these examples too literally. But the point is, they've gone out, and maybe it's because Harry Wilson's leaving on a free in the summer. And if it is, fair play.
Traore, didn't they? I know he didn't really play, but he was a squad player.
Sure. So, but even if Wilson does move on, they've succession plan, right? They've succession plan. We don't even backfill. It's now becoming really tedious, and I'm just, as I said, one of the reasons for me, the whole YouTube decision was I just don't know how much longer I can sit and
the same shit.
Yeah. I've been doing YouTube for 5 years, right? And I reckon I could go back to any show I did in 2021, right? By the way, I had a podcast before that called a Spursy podcast, if anyone remembers, right? And I reckon I could go back to all of the shows from those days, right? And it would be, it's the same. It's the exact same conversations, the same arguments. Half the fan base like a manager, half the fan base don't. Half the fan base blame this person, half the fan base don't. Half the fan base, nothing's changed though, gents. And that's just me talking about my YouTube time. I could go back.
Do you know why, Sav? Do you know why nothing's changed though? Because nothing has really changed where it needed to change, which was at the top. And that's, we'll still be having these conversations in 5 years' time if they don't go. And that's
nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
Exactly.
It's madness. I said to you, I might have said this to you, Chris. I was cleaning up my channel the other day. Just doing a bit of admin in the background. And I look back to all my videos and streams from last January's window. They're the same. Like it's the same, right? It's the same. It's TikTok Spurs. We're in a window. Is today the day? 20 days to go. Yeah, nothing's changed. And then I thought, I'm going to go back further. And I went back to the window before. It's exactly the same. And I don't know how much fight I've got left in me to, and that's why I got to the stage this season. Like, I know everyone only wants to talk about Frank, but this is why I got to this stage, guys, where I'm like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I genuinely don't care. I genuinely don't care what this club do if that doesn't change up there. Bring in the next guy, as Stell calls him, bring in the next victim. We'll see what happens. And we're just going around in, we're going around in circles.
Exactly what Conte said, wasn't it? Just change the managers, nothing will change. Can I ask Connor a question, actually, because you mentioned about this walkout tomorrow. I'll be honest, I've not listened to what Billy's said about it, so I'm aware of it. But what's the expectation? Because I'd be concerned for its perception of its success tomorrow. Is anyone really going to notice? Two things. One, is anyone going to notice anyway? And two, if we were playing well, no one's leaving while we're suddenly like 2-1 up and the game's in the balance, right? So I don't know where that leads. I'm ambitious, but I think it's too early to be pulling that, in my view.
Yeah, look, and I think no, I'm not directly involved with change with Tottenham, but obviously know Billy very well and know the guys very well, and I think part of it is trying different things to see what may or may not work, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error with this type of stuff. I mean, I think we've spoken before about the fact. To be honest, I've come to realise that I just don't personally think the fan base has really got the appetite for it. I think those that are more on probably our side of things in terms of being critical of the ownership and stuff, a lot of them don't go even anymore, have given up, you know. I think with the walkout itself, as you say, if the game is tight, you're going to just get people stick around. If we're losing 3-0, you're going to have loads of fans leave potentially at that time anyway. And probably Change for Tottenham can try and take credit for that. You know, there's an argument to say potentially, could you have done it the other way round? So go in 15 minutes late, because it feels like then it's not based on game state, and maybe that could have an impact. But yeah, I think it's really difficult for the guys, to be honest, because I think unfortunately not enough of our fans are awake enough to what is really going on and how bad it is.
Can I ask a
the
question?
problem with just one comment quickly, Savva. The problem with the walkout is obviously they struggle for numbers. For a walkout to be seen to be successful, the amount of numbers that you're going to need for that to be visible,
you need thousands,
way beyond anything they've probably ever got. Really, even that 2,000 that came that once, I'm not sure how much, because they would be scattered around the stadium. Those 2,000,
exactly. You'd need it all to be from one stand, wouldn't you, or one
you
area?
Like a whole south stand,
just one block.
Yeah. Look, I think the interesting thing for me about this, Connor, I don't know how you feel, is the message Change for Tottenham clear to people? It's just one thing. I'm just asking, like, does the message need to be ENIC out? Does it need to go from Change for Tottenham, which is very ambiguous, right? It's what, we've been asking for change for years, and let's be brutally honest, they have changed. Everything in the back room changed this summer, right? Everything. But it's not the change. It's not the change that we needed. So should it be ENIC out?
I think the sort of original premise was that they were trying to appeal to perhaps people that were a little bit more moderate, right, in order to get numbers, because I think you obviously had all of the stuff that like Daigle and Stell did very originally in terms of, being very, very clear that they wanted Levy and ENIC gone. And I think Change for Tottenham probably had some initial success in terms of getting bigger numbers, certainly than those guys did. In trying to appeal to maybe a slightly more moderate base. There is an argument though now that says if you can't flip it to ENIC out now, whenever could you? Because we've just finished 17th, we're now 14th and slipping. And I think, but I think there's loads of points at play. I think culturally, I don't think this country has that sort of sense of protesting in the same way as if we were in France and Italy, people will have seen what Lazio just did, right?
I was about to say, did you see what they did?
Yeah, where basically the whole stadium effectively boycotted. You would it could get so bad, and you'd never get that sort of thing happen in the UK because it's just not in the nature of British people to do that type of thing. I mean, you look at what the Glazers have done to United, and they get bigger numbers than us at Glazers out of protest, but it still isn't like that Lazio thing, right?
Yeah.
And the Glazers have literally taken basically £1 billion out of Man United in terms of dividends and interest, right? So, I think it's really, really challenging, and unfortunately, I think too many of our fans are so easily influenced by what's going on in terms of short-term results, or perhaps transfer rumours, or whatever else, or perhaps just don't care enough in terms of they just want to have a day out of the football, go watch the game, go home. That unfortunately with stadium going fans, I'm not sure you're ever going to get it. I have many people, and obviously this is all anecdotal, but moan at me in the pub and moan at me, in the stadium about Levy and ENIC, but they're just not the types of people who necessarily will go to a protest because they either think it's pointless or just don't want to go to a protest, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't be hypocritical. I've someone that for years have said, look, I don't want ENIC here, but I don't know what protests do. And then obviously when I turned up at the protest a couple of weeks ago, it just felt like I thought more people would not just attend, but more people would be annoyed. And I don't know. You're right. I think that there's a huge difference, isn't there, between people online that are really annoyed versus some people. It's just what they do. They've done it all their lives. They work a week. They go to the football. There's ups, there's downs, and they're not saying they're not deeply invested, but it's not that deep to them that they need to talk about it every day or get the owners out, yada yada yada. But something's definitely got to happen. But do you even think these owners are even close to the notion of selling? Because they had two approaches, or sorry, is it expressions of interest, I believe is the terminology. And it was said that, no, we're not for sale. Why? Like, why? Are they making that much money from it that they don't need to sell? Like, why?
I don't think they're not like they're not your sort of typical sort of private equity firm that wants to have an asset for a bit, turn it round, and exit it immediately. Like I think they see it as a sort of family asset that they can pass through the generations, and you've seen that a little bit already, right? With Joe Lewis passing it down to the kids. And I think they realise that there's still more upside to come, to be honest. Now, the only thing we can pray and hope is that maybe they will have the realisation that this is a bit harder than they realised running a football club, and they're going to have to spend hundreds and hundreds of millions to get Tottenham back to where it needs to be to then get that revenue growth in terms of Champions League regularly or whatever else. And they may go, oh, actually, should we bother? But no, I think it's really, really hard to force that sort of change. Look, I think we don't know how serious both of those expressions of interest were, but they would have had to have been fairly serious for it to be disclosable. But I've always maintained, look, if they genuinely put this club for sale at the right price and weren't being unreasonable on price, they'd sell it tomorrow, because you only got to look at Chelsea. When Chelsea come up for sale, Man United had plenty of suitors. Obviously, Man United's a bigger club, but there is still so much potential upside here, and the stadium's done. Right? And you've got all of that PSR, or squad cost ratio, headroom as well. So you literally, I mean, we're almost. It would be very easy to take over Tottenham and get it to A level again, if you really had the ambition to. Problem is, I don't think the Lewises will ever have that ambition.
Well, let me ask then, Chris, off the back of that, that's what could be my next question. I think this is something that Frank said yesterday that kind of angered people. And obviously it's all brand new to him. So when he comes out in the press conference and says, oh, the Lewis family want the bet, like whatever, I don't remember the exact words, but it was the Lewis family are completely behind us. They want the best. They want to win. It's new to Frank. We've heard this for 25 years. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you think that is what angered people about the Lewis family? And do you believe that they care? Could it be, Chris, that we're all being harsh? Could it be that they have got this master plan and it's just going to take longer than we all want for it to click into place?
Yeah, I think that's plausible. I would say just one point. I'm sure Connor, this isn't lost on Connor anyway, but the Chelsea comparison's a little bit different. It was a very distressed asset, and it was a bit of a fire sale at the time, right? So you're going to have a swarm of people trying to take advantage. But anyway, I am of the view that I find it odd in some conversations when we get into the conversation about Levy and we say, oh, look, Levy's gone and it wasn't him after all. I'm like, yeah, but you don't. I saw a really good analogy the other night on something. I said I'd nick it. And what was it? It was something like if you run into a shop or something and like mess it all up, and you just make it like throw all the, let's say you go into, I don't know, any old shop and you just trash it completely. And then you run outside and you go, well, it's not his fault because he's not in the building anymore. Well, it was. Like, it takes a while to fix these things, right? So I don't really buy into that yet, that we can conclude Vinay's worse or any of that. It's like, and right now, as you'll know, Savva, I'm doing some consulting in the line of work that I do. So I'm literally going into a company trying to fix their horrendous processes. I can't do it overnight. Like, it's going to take me a few weeks and months to get that done. So I do have a little bit more patience there. I won't even conclude at the end of this window that it's definitely irrefutable that they're just as bad and it's always the same. I think you need to prove that over a longer period. But the problem is, as you've already alluded to, most of us are very battle weary. We've heard the same things before. So there's no goodwill from the fan base generally to believe any of it. Why would we? Why would we? Because the evidence is that that's probably not going to happen, but it is slightly different people saying it.
I agree with everything you just said there, Chris. And I think that the thing for me is I didn't expect that Levy walks out the door and that by the very next window, Spurs are challenging for the title and we're signing all of these top players. But don't you think that this window, guys, was an opportunity for just to see some green shoots? You know, do you think that's the frustrating thing? It's not that, oh my God, we've not signed 5 first-team starters, but it's, show us something. Do you know what I mean? Show us a bit of goodwill. Show us, here's your Son replacement. I don't just, you know, here's your Son replacement. Here's a top right winger. Is it that we haven't done anything like other than replacing Bentancur? Is that the problem with this, Connor, rather than everyone thought it was going to be absolutely brilliant 6 months after Daniel Levy's left?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, look, I've although I called my Twitter account Levynomics, I've been pretty consistent in saying that, you know, Levy was part of the problem and he is part of ENIC, right? He and Sean and I were chatting about this yesterday, right? He is part of the problem, but he is not the problem. And I've always been consistent that it's ENIC's overall model, but in saying that, I don't think we can be revisionist about what Levy was like and all of the issues he had and caused. And there has been no greater beneficiary than Joe Lewis, other than Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy, of the way that they've operated over this time, right? He's going to walk away with somewhere between 800 million and £1 billion. So let's not get the violins out for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know,
plus on top of his yearly salary of being the single best paid person in football.
So exactly. So yeah, I mean, look, I think and you're right. It is funny. I was on with a trust, Sav, just before this, and I was saying to them that, you know, because they were making a lot of these same arguments about the fact that obviously the club have tried to put in this new structure and it's going to take time, and no one was expecting change this quickly. And I said, the problem is fans are not willing to accept it.
Yeah.
If it was new owners who come in and they brought in a brand new executive team and there was a lag in time of it being any different, most fans would go, well, yeah, it's going to take a bit of time. There's teething issues or whatever else. It's the same fucking owners. So people are not willing.
Yeah.
They've had enough. It's like, we can't, the excuses have run out.
If
how
we'd
much
been
longer
bought
are we
in the
going to have to
summer,
wait? We're all going to be dead.
Yeah. If we'd been bought in the summer by a new owner, you could be sitting here right now going, well, hang on, look, they've got 25 years of shit to fix. Right. Yeah. And I always use the analogy, right, that, you know, when my wife and I bought this house, the way it looks now isn't, and Chris, you've been to my house, the way it looks now isn't the way it looked when we bought it, right? And we didn't manage to renovate the house like that. You know, you go, okay, this chunk of money is for this room. And then after that, and then it took us a few years to get it to where we want. Now, obviously, football's different, but it's not. You still have lots of different areas of a football team where you need to sort out. And the noise that keeps coming out of this, guys, is that everything behind the scenes, they're checking off a lot of things, you know, and that was something else Frank said, right? There's a lot of boxes being ticked behind the scenes, and that's great. And I applaud them for that. But as fans, let's be fair, in transfer windows, we don't want to hear anything other than, sorry, mate, where's our new signings? And how much of that sits with fans' impatience versus, well, this is the reality. You've got to buy better players. Like Man City have got a great squad and have gone out in this window and gone, hang on, Semenyo's there, boom. Guehi's there, boom. Yeah, but we don't ever do that, do we? We don't build. We don't build on it.
No, we don't. And I think the problem is at the moment, I mean, all three of us, I'm sure, have used the phrase about how Tottenham is reactive and not proactive. At the moment, we're not even reactive, are we? We're neither.
Right.
Because to the point you're saying, you know, you've got 12 12 players out. And look, I do agree, Chris, with what you were saying earlier. Clearly, you don't want to sign more dead wood and then just store up issues for later. But I do think there also gets a point where you go, do you know what? The opportunity cost of not doing anything, though, is worse than that situation. And perhaps you just, if we can get better at moving players on quickly, you just sort of think, well, okay, we might only have this player for a year, and then we'll get rid and accept that we might have to take a loss at that point, because actually the opportunity cost was greater than that. And I think that's where I am with this window. I just don't accept that we couldn't have done more. I think, and how much of that is about ENIC versus about the complete incompetence that we have also in the scouting department and with the sporting director and everything else, and the Paratici situation. And obviously the buck does stop at the top ultimately anyway in terms of some of that. And, you know, do you know what? If this January window ends on February 2nd and we haven't done anything, I'll obviously be massively pissed off because we should have done more. But if that we haven't done anything and then they sack Lange on the 2nd of February and they also sack Rob McKenzie and they go, we're ripping that up as well, I could at least take some comfort from that, knowing that they recognised that there was a massive issue there and that was the reason the January window went so bad. If they don't do that either, then there's zero excuses for me.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue with it, I made this point to Savva earlier. In any one window, you can look at that, and I take your point about opportunity costs and stuff. But the general, again, I'm going to say I actually support this as a general view of, if you can't get your top targets in this window, wait till the next window. But if you can't get them in the next window, and then the window after, and then the window after, well, there's got to be something wrong with the players you're targeting in the first place. So that's my concern. Is let's live in the real world. And we don't know, we're just speculating. That's what YouTube's about, right? But if our target list is Semenyo and Morgan Rogers and Guehi and players like that, then, well, that's not a great scouting department, is it? Because I could have given you those names. And also, let's live in the real world.
Yeah.
They ain't signing for us. And I'd very much expect, I could be proven wrong. I'd throw in Adam Wharton probably is the same. Why is he going to join it? Where we are right now, let's just have a bit of realism about who these targets are. So I can only buy into, let's wait for the right players if there's a chance of getting them in the next window. If you're never going to get them, we're just waiting for nothing.
Chris, I said on my show yesterday, right? Can you imagine, obviously the whole Semenyo conversation that happened yesterday. So this would have been a conversation that happened back in November or December. And we know that because we were heavily linked with him in November and December, right? At what point were they sitting around in their recruitment meetings? You can imagine it, can't you? Rob McKenzie, Lang's there, Paratici, Frank, all the scouts. They're all sitting around. Vinay's there. At what point, when they've gone, so we're all agreed on Semenyo, right? And they've gone, yeah. At what point did nobody in the room go, hang on, got a question? Don't Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool also want this bloke? Yeah, you're right. Shouldn't we have 3 or 4 backups then? Because if we can't get him, and obviously tongue in cheek, and I know it's not that simple, but we would have known. We would have known Semenyo from the moment his agent has said, yeah, he's not coming to you. He's going to go to City or Arsenal or Liverpool, whatever. What did we do? Did we just stop? Did we just go, right, well, that's it. Well, that's the one we want. Because, Chris, to your point, you're absolutely spot on. In the summer, all I was, if this guy isn't available, we'll wait. But the variables and the moving parts between transfer windows is ridiculous. Savio, we will wait till January for Savio. Well, hang on. I remember saying when we didn't get Savio in the summer, well, hang on. He could either play his way back into the plans at Man City and I don't want to let him go. He could get injured, right? Yada, yada, yada. And one of those things happened. He got injured. Oh, shit. He's not available again. So what do? Say, all right, we'll wait for you in the summer. You can't live like that. These other clubs move. They're nimble. They move with their targets. right? Man City try to get players. If they can't get them over the line, they go and get someone else. Arsenal did it all summer, right? Chelsea do it. Oh, we want him, can't get him. What about? But we seem to have, like Chris said there, oh, it's going to be Eze, Guehi, and Semenyo. Cool. 3 players who are all wanted by bigger football clubs than us. Like,
yeah, I mean the ironic thing with Semenyo though is I'm pretty sure that if we had gone in big for him in the summer, early summer, we would have got him. We would have got him. Ornstein dropped that. Do you remember Tottenham are sniffing around and Bournemouth wants 75 million? The problem was Bournemouth then sold a whole host of other players, but we would have got him. So again, this again shows without, the City and Arsenal were not sniffing around in the summer, Semenyo. It was after Semenyo's had such a fantastic start to this season. And so again, this shows opportunity cost of not acting sometimes. And then you're right as well. Why is he the only one on your list? Like a Lookman, for example, and I'm not saying Lookman is as good as Semenyo, but
you're going to get Chris
and
going
he's
on this
got
one.
attitude issues. And he's got attitude issues, right? But you could see a situation whereby you could say they're not that dissimilar, right? In the way that they profile, they both pacey, score goals from the wing, both fairly physical, can play across multiple positions up front, right? So is that not one you just go for in this situation, for example? But I don't work in the scouting department at Tottenham, so I shouldn't be on this stream telling you what other people should be on that list after Semenyo. But it can't just be, to your point, Semenyo or bust, or we wait for the next window. You've got to be nimble, and there's got to be some creativity there, surely.
But
otherwise, why are we paying these people?
But Connor, the problem is with this is we're being told, God, look at our ambition, went for Semenyo. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Semenyo. Semenyo is a really good player, right? But we're talking about a player that a year ago no one wanted. Right? We're talking about a year ago, no one from, not Spurs, no one anywhere was talking about, oh, Semenyo is going to be hot property, right? You could say probably 2-3 years ago the same about Eze. At the time, it was like, oh, Eze, he does some bits, but if this is going to be our stance where, God, look at the ambition of what we tried to do. Do you know what? My local club, Bromley, could turn around and go, you know what? We really want to sign, I don't know. We really want to sign, who's the top goal scorer in the Championship? I don't know. Whoever it is, right? We really want to sign this guy, but we couldn't get him. That's not ambitious. Sorry for me, guys. I don't know if I'm being harsh. This doesn't show ambition. This shows absolute lack of planning and delusion. Right? This is, we could turn around and go, do you know what? These owners really, 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 right? They want Pedri from Barcelona. Brilliant. So what? So what? Pedri don't want us. Like, what does it matter? To Chris's point, sorry, I'm ranting a little bit, but to Chris's point again, like we'll do the same. Like in the summer when Wharton comes up as a topic of conversation, I'm sure Adam Wharton is watching all these people leave Palace and thinking, I need to get out of here, right? I'm sure he's too good. I think he's a good player, right? If Adam Wharton becomes available in the summer, we'll all go, that's the one player we want. We are fixated on Adam Wharton. What happens? Chelsea go, yeah, we need another centre midfielder. Or Liverpool go, do you know what? We need a ball player in midfield. And we're back to this again, aren't we? Oh, well, we just didn't quite get him, but we tried. This is ridiculous, guys. This is not a strategy.
I'm just going to let the dog out. She's on the antibiotics, so she's weeing every 10 minutes.
Go on, mate. Go on. You're right.
I think the thing is as well, you're spot on. And for me, without revisiting history, but this is where we should have done this when we actually were on top as well. It goes back to that again. This is instead of going fucking 3 transfer windows without signing a single player under Poch, when we actually were on top and could attract these types of players, we had no interest in doing so. We now apparently have an interest in doing it, but there's players that would sign for Tottenham that improve us though. So you've got to build back in steps, haven't you? If we were taken over by new owners that had, say it was Qatari money or whatever, they'd have to do it in steps, right? But they would be able to do it in steps quicker, clearly. But this is the problem, and they don't have a plan.
Strengthen from a position of strength, right? It's the old saying, isn't it? Strengthen from a position of strength.
Arsenal and Liverpool do and City do all the
Right.
time. I think we spoke about it with Semenyo. You look at who City had in their forward options. I mean, we would have dreamt to have forward options like that, right? And they just go out and go, oh, we're going to get Semenyo as well. They get a centre half injury and they go out and sign Guayi, right? Because they're not going to rest on their laurels, and they know that's what you need to do when you want to compete in the league that you're in, and as one of the richest clubs in the world, that's what they're going to go and do. But we spoke about it before with Poch. I mean, Poch's starting 11 was great, but he had Carter Vickers and Wimmer backing up Alderweireld and Jan.
Yeah, Josh Onamoa and
Josh Onamoa on the bench.
Yeah.
So, and then people go, oh, why didn't Poch win anything? And you go, well, you're expecting him to compete on all four fronts with that as his bench at the time.
It's the difficulty as well. I do think there's I'm not saying the club haven't tried to do anything. I just feel like they're probably so desperate to appease the fans right now that they feel like by saying that, what he said about Semenyo, that we all go, oh God, wow, look at Spurs, we tried. But in reality, I don't know about you, Connor, and listen, I'm not hyperbolic about the type of players we can sign. So when I say, for example, I'd go and get X, Y, Z, and people go, oh, have bigger ambitions. You're like, sure. As a fan, I would love Spurs to go and buy the bigger players. But realistically, we know we're not going to be the first destination for these people, Connor. So like when we go and buy Conor Gallagher and people go, oh, Conor Gallagher, you're like, sorry, who is it you think we are, like right now, who is it you think we're attracting? What top player do these fans think is looking at Tottenham right now and going, I must get there. Like, I must get there. Rather than, like you said, baby steps. Build it slowly. Build it slowly. Build a squad. Get a squad of pros. Build it slowly. Start moving up. And then you go, right, look, we're in a good place. Now we're looking to sprinkle some stardust. You're our main guy. I want to build a team around you.
Agreed. And so that's where you need to be. I mean, look, the Semenyos of the world, as we said, those were the types of players we should have been targeting when we had Poch's Spurs, and we could actually compete with teams because it was an exciting project. We're just about to move into the new stadium. If they actually wanted to do it, that was the time to do it. Now it's about, you've got to be a bit more creative. Scouting's got to be better. You've got to look at clubs that you can bully financially, which there is basically every club in Europe outside of the Premier League top six and Bayern Munich, Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid. And then you've got to be decisive, right? No fucking around. You just go, say Akliouche is with Monaco. There you go. There's 55 million. And Akliouche, we're going to push your wages up to 150 grand a week.
Yeah.
Because he'll be on a fraction of that. And you sell it to them as, look, we've got ambition. We know we're not where we need to be right now, but we want to get back into regularly competing.
Yeah.
And you're going to be a massive part of that. And Akliouche might look at that and go, well, do you know what? I've got no other offers on the table right now. I could break my leg next month. And I'm only, 21 or something? This might 20, be even
23, yeah.
Or a little bit older, yeah. This might be a stepping stone for me if I want to go to something bigger in due course as well.
Right.
And you can. I just don't buy that you can't sign anyone, right? That is an improvement for us right now.
And I think that's the key thing. Like, I get that we might have, these are our 4 left winger choices, but if none of them are available, then that's really bad scouting. Like if that is what we've put together, I'm just saying 5. Let's say we go, right, here's the 5 left wingers, just using that position as an example. These are the 5 left wingers that we want. We would have spoken to all of their agents to find out what is their desire to join Spurs. What would the club's desire be to sell them? Yeah, what's the situation? How long on their contract? What they be? All of these things. We would have had those conversations. And if we've had all those conversations between September and January, and we know, okay, these are our 5 first choice left wingers, but none of them are available. Sorry, so you haven't been able to find anyone available. I'm asking questions about that. So you've presented me with 5 players you like. None of them are available. That's not scouting. That's not scouting. That's Football Manager.
I agree. I mean, this is why my
Mental.
point is: how on earth can Langer stay in a job post the end of this window? Whatever your view, like I think that the ownerships are a bigger issue. That is a bigger issue anyway. But how can he stay in a job with what he's just delivered here? So I
But
mean,
they
he
all
should
seem to be
he
on
should have
board.
left after the summer, in my view. But like surely.
But they all seem to be on board. Like the way Lang, Vinay, and Frank, the way they're all talking is though there is a master plan, but we just don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? It feels like every week now, like every game you hear he's definitely going to get sacked if we lose this game. I don't think he is. I don't think he is going to get sacked, or Lang must go. I don't think Lang is going to go anywhere, right? I feel like they have put this plan in place, and this is either going to be amazing and we're going to look back in 5 years, Connor, and go, well, there you go. They said they'd put a plan in place and build it, and they have. Or we're going to look back and go, well, there's another 5 years that we won't get back. Do you know what I mean?
Where's your money right now, Sav? If you
Exactly. But and
Yeah.
that for me, Connor, is why all I wanted to see was just something that resembled green shoots and a plan. So, for example, if Tottenham in the next 43 hours, whatever we've got left, if Tottenham in the next 43 hours go out and sign an Akliouche, that won't tell me we had a plan, because if that was your plan, you go in on day one of the window or the first week of the window and go bang, right? I get it. I get that some signings will be opportunistic, like Gallagher was opportunistic. I get it. But for those signings that are your plan, you're not picking them up on the last day of the window, are you? If that was your plan, you don't wait until the last day of a transfer window to get them over the line. You just don't. So,
and Savva,
I
people
needed
would
to see that.
respond to you, though. I suppose people would respond to you and say, "Oh, well, maybe Monaco didn't want to sell him because they're still in the Champions League." To which, though, do you know what you say to Monaco? Here's another 5 million. Because actually, if we had him for that run of fixtures and we finished 2 places higher as a result, we would have earned more than 5 million. Who cares? And look, I'm not in the business of
Sure.
saying you want to always overpay, because otherwise you end up in that sort of Man United situation of old, where like there are always having to overpay and clubs are bending you over. But when it's panic station time and it's an emergency, I think you just have to accept that you might have to overpay in January for certain players.
Connor, don't get me wrong. I know. Listen, there's always going to be extenuating circumstances for each deal, but my point is, I just wanted to see something that resembled a plan. So if
100%.
Akliouche, I'm just using him as an example, right?
Yeah.
If Akliouche, the player, had said, "Yeah, I want to join Tottenham," and I'm guessing he would, right? Put the bid in the first week of the window. Now, if Monaco reject that, it will become public knowledge, and we go, well, fair enough. The player wanted to join, otherwise Spurs wouldn't have put in a bid, but they've rejected us. At least then you go, cool, we've been decisive. That's who we want. There's the bid that's gone in, right? But we're scrapping around again, and we've got another manager telling us, don't worry, we'll go again in the summer. We'll have the same thing in the summer, whether it's Frank or a new manager. There's no plan. And if anyone tells me there is, I genuinely, I'm yet to see it. I
mean, do you think they sign Gallagher if Bentancur doesn't get injured?
Nope. Not one bit of me thinks that they do that if he gets injured. Not one bit of me.
No, you can give some credit for reacting to that quickly and being more decisive. To my point about being decisive, you can give a little bit of, but you're right. There's no going into the window, and I mean, because you could like Palace. I'm happy they've taken Brennan Johnson, and my in-laws are all Palace, and they're saying, "Fucking hell, can we get a refund?"
Yeah.
And
all my Palace mates are hating me like I did the deal.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that, but at the same time, you can at least go, well, Palace had an idea of what they wanted and went boom straight at the start of the window and went and got that deal done, right? Whether it was the right one or not is,
yeah, but that's not the point.
But
that was the player they wanted. They went in and got it done. Man City wanted Semenyo. They didn't mess about. Man City wanted Guehi. Right? As soon as was it Vardio who went down injured for it was it was Vardio, wasn't it? A week later, Guehi's on his way to Man City. Like you've got to at minimum react. At minimum. But this window, I think Thomas Frank said himself yesterday, we are weaker than when the window opened. How could this is just craziness. Weaker.
I mean, that should never be a statement about any window ever, should it? Any football club. No football club should ever feel that way, of our
since
size.
Since the window opened, Connor, if I'm not wrong, since the window opened, Johnson has been sold. Bentancur, Bergvall, Davis, Richarlison, Porro,
Kudus.
And Kudus have all gone down with long-term injuries. And you look and you're going, hang on. Surely there must be some panic somewhere behind the scenes. I don't know there isn't, but surely it can't be. Because Thomas Frank is cool and calm about these things, right? And I know fans get annoyed with that. But he's a cool, calm customer, isn't he? He's like, yeah, well, surely somebody in the background is going, hang on, we're in trouble. Like, we're in trouble here. Let's pull out all the stops. But it's all, don't worry. Like the Andy Robertson things, just kind of, we'll get him in the summer, won't we? We'll get him on a free in the summer.
Yeah, which to me, then you're starting to think, well, what's the point in like, I know I was less behind it than you, Savva, because to me it was, I got your points about it when we discussed it, but to me it was systemic again of not really having a plan of like, let's bring in this kid who isn't ready again, and then bring in this to fill a gap until he's ready. Like, my view was just don't sign either of them and sign one left back who could actually compete like with Udogie, who's maybe 25, and could last a few more years, but nevertheless, to me, it's another deal that makes you waiting again, so you don't even get the benefit of the immediate impact of that, do you? Sort of.
Well, listen, if we had anything about us, right, the fact that Ben Davis went down injured, the fact that Udogie is the most injury-prone player I've seen for years, right? If Spurs had anything about them again in the last couple of years, at what stage do we rock up to Fulham and just go, how much do you want for Anthony Robinson?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but we don't operate like that. And listen, I've got no problem, and I don't know, Chris, what you feel about this. I've got no problem with Andy Robertson from a point of view of, season pro, leader, winner. I've got no problem with that. But again, it always feels like we take the easy option. So I've got no problem with him per se, but where's the God? This is the left back we've been chasing for a year. Boom! Look at this. This guy goes straight in, and he is our number one. Not buying a player that is he? But straight in, number one. There's your left back for years. We just don't. We don't operate like that, Chris. Do we? We just don't.
You're on mute, mate.
Sorry, I put myself on mute while I was eating my donut. I actually quite.
What donut?
It was just a
John Butler.
Yeah. That'd be a bit of a mouthful, mate, to be honest. It was just a ring donut. It wasn't like a jam one or anything.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyway,
so go on, mate. Go on.
It's not directly answering your point, but I like the Robertson link for a lot of reasons. But it's clearly opportunistic on the basis that he just said he's not really sure about staying at Liverpool and he was wanting to play first team. So it was clearly opportunistic, although I like it because I think the bigger problem at Spurs, amongst many very big problems, I think the makeup of the attitude of the squad is a bigger issue than the lack of ability of the squad for me personally. But anyway, but that doesn't diminish away from anything that you've just said. I don't think for 1 second at the start of the season, anyone sat down in those meetings and said, should we target Andy Robertson? I don't think that conversation happened. Like, his name first came up about 3 weeks ago, I reckon, after Robertson did that interview And maybe with Heitinger joining, he might know. You might still have some links there.
Maybe.
But yeah, we don't. Yeah,
all the reports were, Chris, that we expedited our interest. Is it expedited? Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the reports. Let me start again. All the reports were that we expedited what we were going to do in the summer anyway. This guy's going to join on a free in the summer. You know that, right? We'll bring him in the summer, and I've got no problem with that. But again, it's like nothing we do feels like it's planned. Like nothing we do feels like there's a really big plan at the football club. It's all, oh, he's become available, let's get him. Not, you know, but I don't know.
It's been like that for a very, very, very long time, though, isn't it? Really, I can't even remember really the last time. Even if you go back to panicky loan signings of years gone by, or short-term signings, your Carlos Vinicius or your even Llorente, that wasn't a long-term.
Arafal when he came back, that was a
I mean that was great though. But yeah.
But it's never long-term planning. Like even if you look, guys, even if you look in the summer, a player I'm a huge fan of, and I wanted him, Paulinho, right? Even then, it's we've got this bloke on loan. It's almost like, oh God, can't we either buy him or go and get the younger version? Like, I'll get it if they send him back this year, or we don't get him, but we go and get a Wharton, or you go and get a top midfielder. You go fair. You kick the can down. It just feels like everything's just a bit of an afterthought, you know? So everything's a little bit like, oh, God, hang on, the fans are annoyed again. Let's, who's available? Oh, he'll do. We can get him in. Bayern don't want him, and we've got a great relationship with them. Let's see if it just doesn't feel.
But why it's particularly pertinent now is that's been the same for a very long time, because we very clearly haven't had an ambition to really compete at the very end of tournaments or at the top end of the league, really, where we overachieved under Pochettino. So that's just been the way it's been for years. But I guess this window was the first opportunity to show that something was different. I'll still defer my conclusion till the summer, to be honest. But
you're very generous, Chris, doing that. I think
I'm not confident.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, all I want, guys, I'm only going to go until midnight, so I'm only going to go for another 9 minutes. All I want, guys, is a window where we can sit at the end of a transfer window and go, oh, weren't that good? Like we got what we needed. We didn't mess about. There was no panicking towards the end. We just got it done. And we're literally 44 hours away from another disaster of a transfer window.
Even if you didn't necessarily agree with all of the individual signings and there was perhaps players you wanted more, you could at least see maybe like they'd identified all the right profiles of positions we needed, you know.
Exactly.
Like, and that's for me. I mean, I can't remember a single window ever in my lifetime where you could say we've done all of the bits that we needed to do. You know, I can't think of one.
But the thing is, we hear this every window. I hear can't all be done in one window. I'm like, cool, but apparently we can't do it over 20 windows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're now in a position where you're going, right, well, we need a proper left winger, right? Richarlison will probably go in the summer, and Mwani will go back. Right, we need another centre forward. You need a ball playing midfielder. You've got hardly any left backs. We need a new goalkeeper, or you're going to need because Kinski's not going to sit around forever just being a number 2. You know, what if Van der Ven goes? Now you need another centre half. But what will happen in the summer? We'll go, oh, well, you know, we can't get it all. Can't get it all in what? Well, when can you get it? If you can't get it in transfer windows, when can you get it?
By the way, that Kinski rumour to West Ham and the potential swap with Hermansen, I can't get my head around that from a point of view of just Champions League squad places. Like, what a complete waste of an extra. I mean, as it turns out, we probably won't have 3 extra players to register anyway. I had assumed we might have made a few more signings, so I couldn't see it happening, but maybe it will if we haven't really got anybody to register, have we? Apart from at this rate, I guess Sousa might be going into the Champions League squad and Gallagher.
Well, Basuma and Dragusin probably with Gallagher.
Yeah, true. And Gallagher, yeah.
Apparently he wants out though, doesn't he? Dragusin, he wants out.
Well, he never plays, does he? I mean, I know he's been injured a lot, but he hasn't really played since he's come back.
No. Well, tomorrow, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Yeah, look, I don't know, guys. As I said, I feel like I'm not even angry. Like the tone of my shows now it's just more like, okay, all right. You know, the beginning of the window, there's always that little bit of optimism, isn't there? Like, oh, is this the window? And then,
I mean, this one in particular, we were so clearly woefully short for the first half of the season on left wing. Like, it was painful, wasn't it? How bad we were with the left wing options. I think I would have lost a fair bit of money if you'd have bet me that we'd get to the end of the window and we wouldn't sign at least somebody on loan or something who could play on the left wing. It doesn't massively surprise. Not a lot surprises me in this club anymore, but the lack of signings doesn't overly surprise me. But I thought, surely to God, we get someone in, even if it's re-signing Timo Werner. But
yeah, nothing. I mean, I would have assumed we would have. Like, and you know how badly critical I am of the clowns that run this club. I still would have thought they would have got one attacker in, particularly given, as Savva was saying, you know, with Johnson going and then Kudus going down injured. I mean, surely, like,
Connor, from the beginning of the window to now, if you just look at the forwards, right? So Scarlett's left the building on loan. Richarlison's basically out for 2 months or whatever. Right, Kudus is now out for 4 months, or probably, you know, it was 4 months, wasn't it? Brendan Johnson's left, so we're already sitting there going, God, our forward area really needs some bulking up this window. We're 4 down. We're 4 down from the beginning of the window, and we're literally now going, right, you've got Mwani and Solanke, okay, and then Telenodaba. That is it. That is your forwards. We play every 3 days, or have been playing every 3 days. We've got a horrific injury list. And like Chris, you would have bet your bottom dollar that they're going to get someone, even if it is a Dan Zuma type. You're thinking you're getting somebody.
I just had that momentary in my head then when we were saying earlier about, wouldn't it be funny if we paraded Sterling at last minute? I just thought it would be even funnier if we said our last minute signing on loan and we wheeled out Timo Werner again. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. I'd love to see that. Would make me laugh.
But as I said, I saw, who was it the other week? Is it Atalanta took Raspadori on loan?
Yeah.
But for the rest of the season. So Roma signed, can't think who, Roma signed another forward as well. You know, you've got Forest bought in Luca Netta. You know, West Ham have signed 2 or 3 forwards, 3 forwards. Aston Villa have gone and added Tammy Abraham as another forward, a solid Premier. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, if you said to me, Tammy Abraham's going to be with you to the end of the season, I'm going, I'll take that as a loan. Yeah, damn right. Doesn't mean, oh my God, go and buy him for 56. But yeah, Premier League, proven, experienced. But we just can't seem to get it right. We just can't seem to get it right. And if the aim is we only want Semenyo and Eze levels and we won't ever go away from that, I don't know how we ever sign.
I will just revisit a point that Connor made, though, because what will happen now, let's say we don't sign anybody, who's going to be answering the questions for that? It's going to be Thomas Frank in the press conference, which is completely wrong. Completely wrong. It's not on him. And there are people responsible. And I mean, one of them's going to leave anyways. I'm sure he's doing far more for Fiorentina than he is for us. But
well, so essentially, we've kept him around to help us sign a 19-year-old from Brazil and to facilitate a move for Conor Gallagher, which happened in about 48 hours.
Yeah. And to push Solomon out on loan to Fiorentina. So we got a little double there. It's just ridiculous. It's just beggars belief, isn't it?
Let me do a couple of super chats and we'll wrap up. There you go. So I'm saying Fenerbahce have just offered Lookman 140k a week. 140k a week. So Fenerbahce and Atletico both in talks for Lookman, 34.6 million. Now, Chris, just quickly before we go, I know me and you have got different opinions on this one, but if ever a signing just looked at an absolute no-brainer, 34 million pounds for a proven goal scorer, right? Who's got pedigree in big games. This man scored a hat-trick in a Europa League final, right? Why are we not all over this? Now, Chris, what's your theory on this?
I mean, in principle, I agree with that, but I just think there's some of the questions around Lookman that don't stack up because Atalanta have basically been touting him around the whole of Europe for 2 transfer windows solid. And until today, not one team in any of the top 5 leagues has really shown any interest in him. And to me, that smells a little bit fishy. So I don't know. And it's complete speculation. He could be the greatest guy in the world, but I just feel like there's got to be some reason why other teams haven't got in. Now, maybe Atletico Madrid will go in for him and sign him, and we'll see what happens. But it wouldn't surprise me if a few months down the line, there are problems with him again. I'm not saying I know. I mean, we know he's had problems in the past. I'm not drawing a firm conclusion because how the hell would I know? I just think it's a bit weird. Someone who's clearly got ability is available for a low amount of money. His club have tried to push him out and no one's taken the punt. Just seems very odd to me.
Mm. Yeah, by the way, 18 seconds ago, Fabrizio Romano said that Juventus have reached a verbal agreement to sign Jeremy Boga. Remember him?
No.
Still sniffing around Moani apparently as well, aren't they? They seem desperate. That's not.
Have you noticed a lot of these Italian teams? They seem to be very good with their loan deals. They seem to be really good with their loan deals. You know, like always see Roma and Napoli, like Milan. Who does see Milan are after? Like, Mateta. They want Mateta, right?
Mateta. Yeah.
But these clubs are constantly bringing bodies in, constantly.
They've got to be creative, aren't they? Because they're struggling more financially, I suppose. They just try and find new ways of being a bit more creative. But yeah.
Well, maybe that's why we've got no money. Yeah, look, that's what was said in the last hour. That was nearly a word. Ademola Lookman's future will be decided soon. Fenerbahce sent improved salary proposal worth 8.5 million net. Plus, I mean, these are numbers we could pay easily, right? Agreement of 14 million euro fee with Atalanta, but not on payment terms and bank guarantees. Atletico agreed 40 million deal with Atalanta on payment terms as well. Now waiting for Lookman's decision on their contract proposal. I'll be honest, right? If this bloke goes to Atletico Madrid and we don't get anyone in, I will be so frustrated at that.
You know what will happen as well, don't you? We'll end up drawing Atletico Madrid in the next draw, the Champions League, and they'll score against us.
Yeah.
That's the social experiment that we are.
Oh, God, it's so shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think Lookman is our level. Do you know what I mean? I think he's a good player. He's not breathtaking, but I think that's the sort of pool that we should be shopping in. And if it's true that he was offered to us and we said no, I genuinely think everybody should be shot at Tottenham Hotspur's recruitment team. I genuinely, 34 million. 34 million. We paid that for Tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, super chats. Big up to Ryan Milne with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Ryan. Really appreciate you. You've come in with a second one as well. Said if Frank was their man, they'd be backing him. I mean, yeah, but I mean, we could say this for any manager throughout the last 25 years, right? Pochettino was their man. Did they back him? Jose was their man. Did they? Do you know what I mean? What we could do this. It's difficult, right? I don't get it, but I don't disagree. But big up to Phil P. It's a huge love to the three wise men. See you tomorrow. Yes, Phil, I will see you tomorrow. Love a bit of Phil P time. It's always good seeing Phil P. See you tomorrow, bro. And Jordan Coys, always very generous to me. Always super generous to me, this guy. Says, I'd love to, if you go to the games, Jordan, please come and say hello to me tomorrow so I can thank you because you are always super generous. that offer doesn't extend to everybody. I don't want everyone to come and say hello because, yeah, it's weird. What sort of ownership allows its company to drastically decline and not be looking to do anything that makes it better? If ever a window sums up the lack of interest this ownership has to football, it's this one. And that's just a good place to round off the show. I mean, Jordan hasn't lied, right? That's what makes this window worse. When I see content creators go, well, hang on, Arsenal aren't buying anyone, Liverpool aren't buying. I'm like, hang on, have you seen their squads? Have you seen? We need people, right?
I think it's the point, though, isn't it? The owners stroke the people who have been running the club over the last 20, 25 years. These two things from their perspective are not necessarily the same. So whilst the decline on the football pitch might be true, does that mean that the business has declined? And generally speaking, of course, there's ups and downs, but generally speaking, it hasn't really. So, that's the game, right?
No.
Why invest if you're only interested in what the material value of the resale value of the club is, and that holds its own? Why would you necessarily go and pump a load of money in where it's not guaranteed to have any material output on the value of the business?
No, although they have now probably got to the stage where that pendulum has swung the other way because it's fallen so far that the only way they can get the next stage of any revenue growth is by competing regularly, right? And getting Champions League football. I think they got away with it before when we were regularly finishing in Europe whilst they had that attitude, but now it's gone the other way, hasn't it? And I think there's a reason why Arsenal are now £100 million more revenue than us, and 5 years ago we were above them, and that swing has happened. So it is now got to the stage where it's a bit of both probably, but it's a fucking mess, isn't it?
And the worrying thing as well is you think but just quickly, it's a subject I wanted to touch upon really quickly. If you've both got 5 minutes, just 5 more minutes, right? Am I going mad that I keep seeing these debates online about whether or not we want Tottenham to lose to Man City? Am I going mad with this? Are we not? First of all, we're Spurs fans, right? Second of all, we're all sitting there today going, oh, thanks, Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea, thanks for winning. And in the same breath, you've got people going, yeah, but Spurs should lose tomorrow. Like, it doesn't feel right. I feel weird. I don't know. Just me?
I mean, when it was a couple of years ago, I actively wanted us to lose against City because for me at that point, it was we were in a very different situation this time round. I mean, Sean and I had this debate. To be honest, I don't think we're going down. But the relegation risk does probably change it a little bit. But I wouldn't be that fussed, mate. I despise Arsenal a lot.
That's it. So tomorrow, fundamentally, I would like us to win. If we don't, I won't be as bothered as I might be on another week. Like, I'll be like, well, I don't. Also, because it's like I don't expect us to win. So when we lose, I will be searching for a bit of comfort. And there's more comfort in us losing to City than there is when we lose at home to bloody West Ham like we did 2 weeks ago.
I also do think, Sav, as well. I think the one point that I think if we were to beat City tomorrow, I do actually think that ends the title race. I know that seems early to say in February, but I just can't see Arsenal giving up that many points.
4 points. If City win tomorrow, 4 points isn't too much, is it? Because they've got to play each other. So if City win that, it then becomes Arsenal only need to draw one game, and City could overhaul them.
Aren't we focusing so much on our rivals than actually?
But what does that tell you, Savva? What does that tell you?
We've got nothing else to focus on.
I know, but I listen. I've made peace in my mind that Arsenal are winning this title, right? For me,
I don't care really.
No. I listen. This is the thing. Like, I know people go, "Oh, but the banter with the fans." Well, listen, I hate to break it to everyone, but we're all old enough and ugly enough to have seen Arsenal win a league title before, aren't we? We've all I've seen Arsenal win multiple league titles. You know what? It didn't change my life.
I just despise them so much. Most of my best mates support Arsenal as well, right? So I've got
Yeah.
it all the time, and my family is split as well, right? My granddad was an Arsenal fan, so like my dad and his brother supported Tottenham, and then his other brother and his dad supported Arsenal. So we're like, and their fans are just absolutely despicable. And I can't use the word that I want to use next because I'd demonetize you.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's just something I've never. I keep getting accused of this. Like I keep seeing creators saying that, oh, you want City to win. I've not once ever said this. I've never ever had this conversation. I've never once said I want Spurs to win. I want Spurs to win. If Arsenal are going to win the league, they're going to win the league, right? They're going to, right? They've got the best squad. City for me are still 6 months to a year off being, good enough to win it for me. But I don't know. Look, we'll see tomorrow, right? We'll see tomorrow. But I'm putting out there right now, clip this. I want Spurs to win. In no way, shape, or form will I be happy. But
hold on. So we can clip that now. So it says, I want Spurs to win in no way, shape, or form. You didn't help yourself there, mate.
Oh, dear me.
That is very good, Chris.
A quick score prediction for tomorrow. The depleted Spurs. Man City have got no one up front really other than Doku and Haaland and Semenyo and Foden and Silva. What are we going with?
Well, Chris, you go first.
Oh, great. I was hoping you were going to go first. Yeah, look, I think we'll lose. Just trying to settle on what scored I think it will be. We might score because they're struggling a little bit at the back. But yeah, I guess maybe I think either 3-1 or 3-0.
To City.
I was going to say 3-1.
Obviously to City, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on, Connor.
Yeah, 3-1 City for me.
I think it'll be a monumental effort to take something from this game. Again, it's even if things aren't going well, you've got no one to bring on and change. I mean, what are we talking about? What we'll bring on Papa Sarr to change the game? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm assuming it'll be Gallagher and Basuma, right? Because they didn't play midweek, but I just don't see where. Again, I don't see where enough goals are going to come from. And I don't know what we can do to change it. So listen, I think my head says City will win this. My heart says we'll snatch a draw, but I'd love to be wrong and we get all 3 points. But yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Oh, hang on, I've got another super chat. A user said, I'm tired. No fuel left. Yeah, depending on how old you are and supporting Spurs, that will that's a kind of condition that comes with being a Spurs fan. Big up to you, a user. Really appreciate you. I'm guessing there's going to be no content creators going right now. Let me just have a look, see if we can send people over to anyone. Hang on 1 second. Is anyone live? Yeah, my man Too Much of E is live. I'm going to send you over to Too Much of E. I like E. When you get over there, just say Savva Raid or fhtv Raid. Guys, I will see you. You're both going tomorrow, right? I will see you both in the number 8, probably. I'm good, about 2-ish, something like that. But I will see you boys there. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Take care, everyone. Much love. And maybe we wake up to a signing. Take care, everyone. Bye.